Hello YouTube, my name is Isabella and welcome back to my channel, Stubbornly Bookish. Today I'm going to be discussing my goals for 2020 while also wrapping up my goals of 2019. I think my reading this year was great in terms of numbers, but I did not accomplish what I set out to accomplish, which is a bit of a bummer. I only succeeded in terms of 3 points of my goals, of the numeric trackable goal. I did manage to read over 20 Own Voices books. I did complete more than 10 books that were over 500 pages, and I did read over 10 debut books. I wanted to complete 10 series. I only completed 2 series of all of 2019. Only 2 of them are finales, which is frankly tragic. I wanted to DNF more books. I had a goal of 5 and I think I officially DNF'd 3 books, which is okay. I would like to get into the habit of DNFing more and actively putting stuff down and not going back to it. That was not terrible. I wanted to read 12 of my OwlCrate books because I've subscribed to OwlCrate for quite some time. I only read 6, which is also not great. I wanted to read classics. I put only 4 classics on here. I did not read a single classic in 2019. And I also wanted to read 8 middle grades. And I ended up, I think, reading 5. So I think I've learned a lot from what I set my goals to in 2019. I definitely plan on improving upon so in 2020. This year I'm not just whipping out things that I'd like to accomplish. These are things I'm going to be actively trying to complete. No, none of this, oh yeah, I would like to read 10 sci-fi, this, that, blah, blah. And most of them have to do with my TBR and completing series. Like most bookworms, I like to set off my Goodreads 2020 yearly goal. In 2019, I set it to 52 books, and that really worked for me. 1 book a week is super manageable, and by taking the pressure off, I really think that helped me read more this year. I have read the most books I've ever read in a year. I read 80 books this year. So in 2020, I'm going to be setting my goal to 52 books. If I get over 80, I'll be happy. If I don't, that's fine. Just want to read more than a book a week. My first goal is to actually have read 45% of my TBR, my physical TBR. I think the last count I own about nearly 600 books that aren't duplicates, and I'm sitting now currently at about 38% read. I would like to get that ideally even further, but 45% I think will be a attainable goal. I'll still have to work for it and not bring in as many books, but I think that is attainable. This year, my number 1 numeric goal is to complete series. I've been actively reading a lot since 2016, and the amount of series I've completed is honestly abysmal. I wanted to do 10 last year and I only got 2. I think I'm going to set the goal to 12 series completions. If I read more, that's fantastic, but at least 1 finale-ish a month seems attainable. I really need to actively focus on finishing my series because they've just been sitting unread for far too long. 2 goals I'm bringing back from last year are to read 20 Own Voices works. I wanted to put this on here specifically for 2020 because I expect I will be reading a lot of adult fantasy this year. I've seen my taste shifting more and more towards adult fantasy, and it happens to be written by a lot of white straight men, so I want to actively be combating that and also include Own Voices work. This year I'd also want to read 15 books over 500 pages. I think I did 12 or 13 in 2020, and I just want to keep that on there so I can keep tracking it. It seems very attainable. Page sizes of books don't really tend to bug me, but I want to actively still be doing that. This year, I would like to complete all of Jane Austen's work that I have not read. I have read Pride and Prejudice and Persuasion, and I love both of those books, but I haven't read her other books, and this year it is time for me to have said I've read all of Jane Austen's work. I've been putting it off for too long. I have so many miniseries and adaptations that I want to watch, so it's time to get through Jane Austen. In terms of goals that aren't as easily tracked, I really would like to focus this year on reading more books than I am bringing in. This might be an absurd pipe dream, but I have to do something about my TBR and get it down, and the best way to do that would be actively reading the books on my shelves and not buying as much. I just it's so easy to buy books, especially used and Book Outlet, and I just really need to be actively like not purchasing books. I just have to. I don't have the space anymore. It's not great. I also am going to continue working on a goal that I set from last year that I didn't mention, and that's to create a read shelf. The more and more I'm on BookTube, the more and more I get annoyed that I don't have one of any of my shelves that are fully read. Like, I haven't read every single book on one of my shelves, and it's just been bothering me. And in 2019, I really did knock down a lot of the books that I have read on here. It is also helped by the fact that I moved the sci-fi from this shelf to another shelf. But as it stands, I think I have 32 books left on this my main shelf that I have to complete for it to be read. And I would like to have that done by the end of the year. And this last thing that I have written down, I'm not going to be very strict on, but I would like to get to a lot of the books that I purchased in 2016. Simply because I've had these books on my shelves for like 4 years now, I think it's finally time to get them read. I did a count recently because I have all my books cataloged in a spreadsheet, and I have approximately 20 to 23 books that I purchased in 2016 that aren't classics that I need to have read to be successful at that. And frankly, just keep an eye on it. Make sure I'm trying to get to the 2016 purchases, and if by the end of the year I haven't read them, I think it will be time to get rid of them, or at least really reckon with the fact that I still haven't read them, and it will have been like 5 years at that point. So that is it for most of my goals for 2020. Nothing super huge or revolutionary. I just want to set a few goals and really actively work towards them. Hopefully they end up being a success. Hopefully I'm not coming to you again next year saying I failed at all my goals, which I kind of feel like I did in 2019. Not only did I fail most of my written goals, I also failed my 2019 TBR. So something's got to change. I've got to actively, I think, remind myself a bit more to get these things done, but oh well. Let me know down in the comments below if you have any goals for 2020. I'd love to hear them. But as always, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye!